software, at least for right now, because it's too much of a pain in the tush to get working. So I'm just gonna wait for a little bit of people to get in. And pretty much this is gonna be all about making use of correspondences, defining what a correspondence is, and how to actually use it in your magic, and being able to connect the dots with certain objects or materials, so that way it'll better help your manifestations or spell work, if you would. Hello, Kayla. Always, always here, none of it. So, and yes, I just flung my inhaler, and I really don't care. So, let's start off at the very beginning. What's a correspondence? In terms of magic, correspondence is defined as something that connects, or it pretty much is in the same, shares a similar quality to another object that links with it. Like for an example, we'll go with, say, the moon. The moon is usually seen as the color white, sometimes gray. It's pure, its emotions, its purity, and it's also sensitive. Selenite is also pure, it's also white, and it's also sensitive because when you put it in the water, it disintegrates. That's the idea of correspondences. And when you have more correspondences that link together and support each other, it usually has been theorized that it actually improves the potential outcome of actually happening. So I figured us also have make a kind of a fun game out of this. Sit still. I figured we would do something like do 3 examples, and we will start with, again, we'll go with the moon, and I have like a few topics that can be spoken about regarding the moon, so that way we can kind of see how, where did that pin go? Now, one of the things I flung was not a good idea, but anyway, I gotta get it. Where's Stone? Where'd it go? Found it. Get over here. So to start, now what do we know about the moon in terms of its qualities as a planet? And before somebody comes and says, it's a satellite. Okay, then to be technical, we're a satellite too, because, you know, we're around the sun. So, same thing with like Pluto being a dwarf planet. It's a dwarf planet, it's not a planet. What is it called again? Dwarf planet. You just called it a planet. Just saying. So moon. What do we know about moon? Well, in its the way that it moves and how we perceive it, it's fluctuating. Yep. Yep. Whenever moon is sitting with a planet, being aspected by a planet, or moon is influenced in any way, shape, or form, mutable aspect, planet aspect, sign aspect. If moon is influenced by anything in any particular way, she gets influenced by it. So, for example, say if you have moon and Saturn together, moon becomes a second Saturn in a way, because moon takes what's ever near her, and she pretty much embodies and dilutes that. So she kind of is like a mimic, but and she's so extremely sensitive. Same thing with Mercury, except Mercury is a bit more mundane because Moon and Mercury are the fastest planets, but Mercury is a bit more intellectually able to logically go at things. Moon, it's all emotions. So with Moon, it fluctuates. Yep, Moon will take in every planet, every single one. every planet. And Moon is sitting with everybody in the same house. She's taking all of that. Everything, she's like in a way, you could say like a black hole. She takes it all and becomes embodying it. Friend, enemy, neutral, don't matter. If she's being, if there's somebody else sitting with her, she starts pulling because she only knows how to be receptive. And it can get a bit crazy because Moon, like I've said, is very easy to influence. By just existing, she gets influenced by anything. So Moon fluctuates, meaning she goes up and down, up, down. She controls water, controls the tides, and also controls emotion. Imagination is also, Moon's also the most lustful. The most, now lustful for not being like, nasty kind. No, no, no. Lustful as in desiring for something so intently that it brings emotions into play for it. Like the intense desire. Moon is also the way one is nourished. Nourishment. Moon is also the originator of beauty. Moon's also the overall divine feminine, usually. And I say usually because there is one exception. In Shinto, the moon god Tsunogi, he's a he is a male, so that does bring in the masculine energy to it. But he's also associated with the moon. So we have essentially we have the moon. Hold on, I'm going to change something real quick. So essentially we have. I'm going to turn that down just a wee little bit. Hopefully you can still hear me. But anyway, so the moon, even though ironically associated with Tsunuki, it's still a moon-related planet. I think, and not moon-related planet. Essentially, Tsunuki and Amaterasu, even though they're backwards, because Amaterasu is seen as a solar divine that's over sun, and Tsunuki is a divine masculine over the moon. They still go with each other. And if you're going at it towards the west, like how usually it's seen how sun is masculine, moon is feminine, this is where one of those rare instances where you can have Amaterasu be sun and the moon because of that. Same thing with Tsunuki, sun and moon. Sun masculine, he's a masculine, so there's sun, but then it turns moon because he's over the moon. You see where I'm getting with that? Anyway, moon's also imagination, and it's also where you also tend to like to nourish. So how you heal, how you regenerate, how you restore, how you attend to others, nurturing. The side of like being a nurturer. So anything like being a nurse, that's also in the moon. So what now can we also include about like say the plants? Like what plants are associated with the moon? Oh boy, I have quite the list. So number one, just there it is. Number one, tea tree. Why tea tree? Because tea tree is actually a really good plant that's used for means of saying like if you have like a scratch, tea tree is really good at soothing that. It's also really good for clearing out breakouts. Another one. Is that it? Nope. Another one. Blue lotus. If my camera will focus. Blue lotus is essentially the flower of divinity. So that's another one. I'm not to say that one. Not that one. Another one's clary sage. Even though I don't have it on me. Poppy seed is another one because poppy seed is actually good for like lulling something. Like another one's jasmine. Jasmine flower. Eucalyptus is another. Magnolia is another. I'm trying to think of any other off the top of my head. Myrrh is another. So is Lady's Mantle. That's another one. I have another one in my head. I'm trying to catch it. Lavender is another one. So, and funny enough, all those plants too, they either have something to do with emotions, like for example, clary sage is also used to essentially bring euphoria or a state of nostalgia. And moon likes to really ruminate about the past and bringing nostalgia. Clary sage is identical with that. Same thing with blue lotus and jasmine. They both have a euphoric effect to them. Magnolia is also a nurturing tree as well. So now stone crystal wise, there's, well, again, there's selenite. Then there's also agite. There's another one. So is clear quartz. Okay, I'm gonna have to break my back to grab that one. Even though this is a really tiny piece, it don't matter. Get over here, little nasty. Clear quartz is another one. That's a thin one. What else? Some snow quartz is another. So is, let's scoochie that out of the way. I thought I saw it, never mind. Where'd it go? Angelite's another one. Blue topaz is another. Moonstone, obviously, because it's in the name. Any stones like Larimar, aquamarine, even Lepid. Yeah, I want to consider Lepid the Zeal one, but if it's like more in the darker moon, possibly. Not really Morganite. Not really that one. Socialite can be one. Apophyllite is another. And believe me, Apophyllite hits like a truck. Take it from me. Let's see. Another one can also be Phenakite, which is this little thing, this little vial of it. Be forewarned, this Phenakite, stop dancing back and forth like a dick. Phenakite, take it from me. This Phenakite will really just open you up. Believe me, it was not pleasant the first time I had wearing that. It was not pleasant as it forced it open. Nothing vulgar, okay? So now that we've covered the stone, crystals, herbs, and now color-wise, well, simple. Moon can either be white or black. How can moon be black? No moon? First quarter, third quarter, essentially black and white. You could technically also maybe even say gray, but primarily the colors white and black, they're the most receptive. White pulls, dilutes, it's pulling, and it's being receptive. Black just takes it, and it's gone. Because black just is like a void that pulls, keeps it. But also black's the only color that essentially, no matter what you do to it, it pulls it. And it's, of all the colors, is actually the most powerful. Because white takes something, weakens it, dilutes it. That's just what happens. I mean, look what happens when you put it with red. It gets a bit. It still has the passion side of it, but it's a little bit more calm. Same thing if you put it with blue, it becomes a little bit more. Instead of it being more, trying to figure out a good way to put this. Like for an example, like purple, like how purple is usually seen as a color of intuition, wisdom, and psychic protection. When you dilute that, it tends to be a little bit more calming, more easier on the psychic awareness, and it tends to make things be a little bit more easier to comprehend. Just an example. For moon, masculine or feminine energy wise or neutral? Well, moon is usually seen as a feminine energy because it's receptive. The demeanor of the moon. Moon, again, sensitive, empathic, intuitive, sensitive, lustful, beautiful, seduceful, alluring, nourisher, healer, imaginative, intoxicated, luxury, queen. And these are just all examples just with the moon. Then for numerologically, simple. Number 6. Why the number 6? Because 6 is actually the number of the Divine Mother. And it's the only number that gets along with all the other ones. So the number 6, it's also looking like a pregnant woman that's expecting. It goes with the moon just perfectly. So that's just an example for the moon. Now if we take another one, let's just go with Saturn. Oh, there's Ethan. Oh yes, coconut's another one. Yeah, I have no idea what's been going on with my live stream thing too, because my live stream has just been like loopy loop, and I don't know. Because I mean, like some moments I'm just fine, and then some moments it's just like, what the heck's going on here? How come I have no viewers? And I get like, ah, whatever. Now let's talk about Saturn, and also yes, coconut is another moon-related plant, because coconut oil, fractionated. Well, some, well, he can be, except it's in a way that's more about self-esteem that you give up, because Saturn is not egotistical. So let's start with Saturn as a planet. So what do we know about Saturn? Okay, slow, cruel, but again, not cruel just like you're stupid. Cruel as in like, this is the truth. I don't want to look at it. Just look at it. But it makes me cry. Good. That's the truth. But I don't want to cry. Too bad. That's Saturn. He takes the reality and says, you didn't pay your taxes, so garnished. Okay, you ready? Hope you like being put upside down and tickled and have money come out of you. Okay, ready? Someone get me my stick and I'll hit him like a pinata. Yep. But Saturn is also the foundation for everything else to stand on top of it because he's the oldest one. Unless, if you're going to be counting Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, but Saturn is a representation of the elderly. He's rebellious, he's defiant, and he'd rather be with the people than stand around with the sun. Saturn is also is also represented by trees such as the Siberian fir, any place where it's cold and sacred, but also Saturn's also, to explain the rebellious part two, 33% of the light that gets thrown at Saturn by the sun. No! Get it away! No! Stop flaming! No! You can take your flaming crap back. I don't want it. Stop flaming! Damn it! I hate the sun. Damn flamer. Yeah. 33% of all the light that gets thrown, he deflects it because of his ring system. Saturn is a perfectionist. It takes his time, but he's also the most reliable. Yes, any kind of birth defect, missing a limb. Essentially, when somebody's born with a condition like asthma, that's another one. An extra limb, that's another one. Missing a appendage like phalange or whatever the heck the toes are called, like anything that's missing like one or has an extra, it's also Saturn. Any disability, including mental, physical, emotional, that's also Saturn. The elderly, that's Saturn. Outcasted, that's Saturn. The masses, that's Saturn. Beggars, best sandals. Yep, allergies too. That's also allergies are another one. Because allergies are essentially seen as something that pretty much provokes the body to rebel against it. Allergies go in and they rebel again and they try to fight against the white blood cells. So essentially, even also white blood cells can also be Saturnian because they're defying the allergy or the toxin. Also, Saturn's anything that's poisonous. Anything poisonous, including plant-wise, chemical. There's also radiation, believe it or not, like radioactive waste. It's also Saturn. Yet he also is over the occult, ice, gemstones, crystals. He's also the judge, patient, slow. I think I've said that one. He's calculative. He's also probably, if not the best one to get guidance from. Like if you're trying to get life advice, he probably would be the best one. But he's also, well, some people would deem him being pessimistic. I don't see him as pessimistic because if he's telling you the truth about how it is, even if it's dark, he's telling you how it is. And if there's someone who cares about you the most, they'll tell you exactly how it is, regardless if it's good, bad, or dreadful. And Saturn's also the servant, or like people that provide you service of any kind. Literally anything. Hey Z, literally anything that involves service and providing you a service, such as house cleaner, politician. Let's see here. And also any kind of work that the common man is like, I'm not going to do that. Being like a trash man, a sewage cleaner. Even an occultist can be seen by Saturn because he's still all the way out there in the dark. That's another one. Saturn is also a historian. Yes, they do have rings, though Saturn, of all of them, is the most defiant out of all of them. Jupiter's ring system is very light, and also Saturn has the most moons now, beats Jupiter by one. So essentially, in a way, I like to look at it as like the moons that are around Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus, and all of the ones that have more. To me, those each represent like followers or disciples, metaphorically, that are flocking to the planet and then learning and taking in and actually being guided by it. So in a way, you can kind of see, huh, take, you see that? Yeah, you suck, you fatty. Ha! I have the most by one. Ha! Everybody likes me. Huh. No. Mm-hmm. And Saturn outnumbers them just by one. Yep, I love Saturn too. A lot of people are just like, oh God, get him away. He's gonna beat the living heck out of me. No! You did it to yourself! And also, here's another one. Saturn is also mirrors. The mirror. How is he a mirror? Simple. Splendid. Anything that is reflective is Saturnian. Because mirror. Ooh, I love seeing. I love that placement, having Saturn in the D9 in the Lugna. I love seeing that because it shows, well, if this person gets married, oh, divorce is not an option. Trust me, they're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to get rid of them. Just saying. So the mirror is one of the very few things that's neutral. How is it neutral? No matter what the mirror sees, it bounces it back. So it's like neutral. It only deflects back what's thrown at it. So if I'm looking at it, it's deflecting me back. It's not positive or negative. It's just showing it for how it is. That's also Saturnian. So let's see. Where's my... Right over here. So let's see if there's anything else. Saturn also rules the bones. Like, essentially, anything that's the foundation of the body. Also, blood. Believe it or not. Because even down to the very smallest possible way of viewing it through like a microscope, cell is also Saturnian. But how? Saturn is the masses. What are cells? They're the masses of the human body. There you go. There's another one for you. Plants related to Saturn. Okay, this is where we're going to have a lot of fun with this one. Oh boy. First one. I'm going to go with a tree. Siberian fir. Do I have to say any more? It's here. Well, Siberian fir is known as like the first original Christmas tree. So, the first original Christmas tree. So essentially, it's a tree that can withstand the cold. Very sturdy, very strong. And also, all trees at the core are old. Another one, Juniper Berry, or as I like to call it, the little battering ram. Well, Juniper Berry is pretty much, again, like a battering ram. It pierces through everything so that way it opens up. And Juniper is also related to more of the darker things, and Saturn is also the one that is also close with the darker things and goes point blank through everything. It's also strict. Another one. Not that one. That one was a prank. Here's another one. Black spruce. It's a really shadowy in terms of scent. Douglas fir is another one. Essentially, you could kind of in a way say all trees are Saturnian because they have been standing in the same spot for a long time until someone or something knocks it down, or if the wind blows it hard enough. Fennel's another one. Did I grab any more? Tea tree? No, not really. I'm trying to think of any other ones. Well, oil-wise. Plant-wise, any plant that's poisonous. Any poisonous plant. Including, but not limited to, foxglove, belladonna, oleander, and fun fact, the Saturnian plants rival the Venusian and plants that have flowers. Usually that's Moon or Venus. Saturnian rivals them in terms of beauty. believe it or not. But the thing is, if a planet, if a plant is poisonous, regardless of how intense it is, it's Saturnian because it's a plant that's telling you, don't touch me. Saturn, a planet that says, piss it, don't touch me. No, get away. I don't like you. Another way to look at it. So now, stone-wise, see, we got one there. There's another one. And another one. And another. Of course, can't not forget that one. There's definitely that one. But in terms of regarding the stones, well, if you want to be technical, any and every stone technically is Saturnian because all the stones that are in existence, pretty much, they all take a long. Hello, Maddie. Essentially, all stones, crystals, regardless of what it is, they were formed and it took a long time, many moons to make them. So, without further ado, here's some ideas for stones that go along with Saturn. We have obsidian. Do not know why that one's really translucent, but another one. A speck of what? Whoa! Holy, holy crap! Is that a rainbow one? Holy crap! I was not expecting that one to be a rainbow. Good Lord, Lanta. Are you for real? Another one? The heck did I get at a Hobby Lobby? Good Lord, Lanta, because that's where I got these from. Something's fishy, and it's not me. I don't like fish. That's just creepy. Anyway, another one. Hematite. But I thought that would be like a stone related to Mars. Yeah, if you scratch it, it has a red tint. But hematite, it's quite heavy. And what's Saturn? Reality. He brings you down to Earth. So, yeah, this thing brings you down to Earth. Another one. Snowflake Obsidian. And so is good old Lappy, if it'll try and still not jump out of my hand. Black Tourmaline. Another one. Amethyst. That's another one. I don't have one on me right now, but Sugilite is another. Speaking of that. Okay, now where is that little... I know it's around here somewhere. I know exactly where it is. Found it. Get over here, you little twat head. In all due respects, but come hither. No! Oh, look at that. Another one came out. Another stone is the Scooch. Tush. Another one is the Smoky Quartz, or I like to call it the Shadow Quartz. Another good one. Sugilite. Literally, this is probably, if not one of the best examples of a Saturnian stone. Along with a few more, another one. So Sugilite is only found in one place, Russia. And Sugilite is the best, say, like how there are some aquariums that have bottom eaters, like bottom feeders. They actually feed on the algae and the the like the water mode or anything that's like algae. Yeah, Sugilite does kind of the same thing. All right then, that was kind of rude for having a dog bark randomly. Anyway, Sugilite. If you were to put this in dirty water, it would purify the water by just sucking the BS out of it. There you go, Sugilite. Don't underestimate it. And I just had another plant hit me upside the head, not literally. Another one. Probably, if not the best, one of the best examples for a Saturnian plant. Oh, yep, that's definitely one. Mm. Mm. Ah. Oregano. Literally, the anti-BS plant. Antibiotic, antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, and literally anti-everything. What's Saturn? Nope! Nope, I don't want your crap. Get it up. Nope. Oh, no. I don't want your damn Girl Scout cookies. Brats. Literally. That's Saturn. He's rebellious, he's defiant. Oregano is anti-everything. A lot of people do, and I've been so needing just to really start making more videos to bring him in. I kind of miss acting like him a lot. Oh, and the last stone for Saturn is the Blue Sapphire. And yes, there is one there. And there's another one there. And also, Saturn also rules when it comes to like fingers and the body appendages. He rules the middle finger. So it's just convenient. Nope. Stick it and piss it. Nope. Let's see what else we got here on the list. The colors for Saturn. Any dark color. Black. Deep dark blue. Dark purple. Any color that's more on the darker side. Gray. As well, believe it or not, colors that are what is that color called? Like the deepest color, black, is the best. Hey, Nadia. Nadia, Capricorn. I love Capricorn, sorry. I mean, they are the most supreme sign, but that's none of my business. Really, they are, because they have the most lunar mansions than all the other signs. They have 4. Instead, everybody else just has 3. Fun fact. Now, Saturn, masculine, feminine, or neutered? He's neutered. He's neither. How can that be? Well, it's Saturn. Old, slow, rebellious. Both masculine and feminine can be rebellious. Both grow old. Both slow down. Both can be pretty harsh on themselves. And also Saturn being neutered, that's also why usually those that are not either seen by just being only masculine and feminine, yes, Saturn also represents the people that are in transition or those who are or that are not straight. Any of those orientations, that's also Saturnian because they are different than just what the status quo says. Oh, it's not status quo. We can't have that. Ugh. Don't get me started with that. That's a whole new thing down the rabbit hole of nope. Saturn's demeanor. I think we know Saturn's demeanor. Rebellious, strict, point blank, cruel, reliable. Well, again, double the strict. Harsh, point blank, truthful, lazy, slow, but also patient, perfection, like he's a perfectionist. Realistic, he's fixated. More of a realist. He tends to also be a bit more conservative in his viewpoints. Number, and number 8. Because the number 8 is Saturnian. Because the rings just keep going and going and going. And it's so tightly conjunct, if that makes sense. And also, believe it or not, Saturn also represents the, what's that called? An orchestra. Orchestra of music, orchestra of musical instrument players. He also can also be seen as the one, what's that called? The one with the stick pointy thingy. The what's his name? Conductor, I think. The orchestrator conductor, the guy that likes to point at everybody while they're playing their instrument. That's Saturnian, because to be doing an orchestra, you kind of need to have things be structured, organized, and everybody, that's gonna sound bad. Everybody needs to be blowing or pulling their instrument strings in the right procedure in the right time and organized. Yeah. Okay, I was left. So that's Saturnian. So now let's see. We'll think of some deities for Saturn, and then after that, I'll leave it open for any questions or the whatnot. So, Saturnian deities, what can we think of? I'll go first. Shani, which is the Hindu deity for Saturn. That's one. Another one is Hel from Norse mythology. She's also Saturnian. Hades is Saturnian. Kronos is Saturnian. Osiris is Saturnian. Hera is Saturnian. How is she Saturnian? Well, if you try and break the bond between her, like her commitment, which is also Saturn, and marriage, devotion, discipline, and organization and sacrifice, which is required for marriage, there you go. Hera, Saturnian. Strict and rebelling even against Zeus. That's Hera even did that too. I don't know who Veritas is, so I got nothing on that one. I can't say because I don't know who that is, so I can't say. So let's see. Saturninus is another one. He's Saturnian. Dependable, realistic, and is able to be patient, understanding, and also stands with those who are pushed away. Let's see, where's another one? You could even also say Izanami, in a way. Well, I don't know if that's actually a deity, but Yukiona. I know it's a Japanese mythological spirit that's over the ice and the cold. Skodi is another one from Norse mythology. Anubis is another one. Serket's another one. In a way, technically, you could also say Arachne, Melone, or Melania. Not Melania Trump. Melone's one. In a way, you could say Persephone's another one, somewhat. Baba Yaga's another one. Kalek is another one. In a way, Lilith too. Nyx is another one. I mean, for goodness sake, she's the first deity to exist, so yes, that counts. Tiamat is another. Hmm. The Arenary sisters, or the Furies, that's another one. Hmm. Trying to think of any others, but I believe that's the most I can come off the top of my head for now. At least for Saturn deities. So anyway, for now, I will kind of leave it just for open floor right now, and we can go from there. So okay, I have enough time. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go grab something to moisten and not have my mouth be dry as the desert. Real quick, and I'll be right back. So plot your questions or whatever you have in mind, and I'll be right back. Don't break anything. Break it, you buy it. Let's see. Actually, not really, no, because in the fourth house, Saturn looks at the sixth house, which is good. That's what you want him to look at. The 10th house, and then he looks at the ascendant. So essentially, this is how it goes out. In the fourth house, looking at the sixth house. So any house, so the houses number 6, 8, and 12. Those are usually seen as houses that are harmful, usually, malefic houses. So regarding Saturn now, whenever Saturn influences the houses 6, 8, 12 in any way, he pretty much says, well, primarily the first aspect, looking at the third, this it kind of goes into like this. Here, I have to get my shunny stick. This thing helps me get into character. So he's looking at the sixth house with his third aspect. This is essentially what he does. Okay, Brap, see that? If you put no effort in there, guess what? It's gone. Oops, sucks to be you. Pretty much, if there's no effort and if there's no even attempts to actually start really going towards and investing in that house, still, it's still a devotion to one's emotional well-being and sense of security. So Saturn looking at the sixth house with third aspect, he's demanding you put more effort in there. Otherwise, that house he'll pretty much metaphorically kill. The sixth house. What's the sixth house? Illness, disease, afflictions, enemies, opposition, day-to-day routine, struggles, challenges. Saturn says, put an effort with your enemies or I'm going to kill them. How come you're not doing anything? Oh, screw it. So Saturn grabs a hold of the enemies and restricts them. Mother figure can also might be helpful in restricting your enemies. 10th house he's looking at, and he naturally owns that house. So he's going, hey, I own that house back in, how things are supposed to be. Brat, you see that? You're going to stick to that no matter what. I don't care. Do it. Nope. That way. Hurry up before I cattle prod you. So he's looking with the 7th house to the 10th house. So essentially, you're going to be very committed and focused and pretty set on achieving something that's going to be providing you a standing in society that's noble and also having a strong reputation and pretty much prioritizing serving your own reputation for the best. And you're also wanting to maybe even consider being in a state where you're being looked up to. Or heck, if you want to go to the really crazy extremes, this can also show somebody being adamant on being strictly focused on being a. Oh, hi, Michael. Yep, yep, you're right, Michael. And also, the 4th house Saturn can also potentially show that someone is devoted or committed, or they have a strong focus on being a celebrity figure, like a pop star, singer, actor, or anything that gets them in the spotlight because they're so focused where Saturn's looking with the 7th aspect. And then he looks at the ascendant and the 10th aspect. He looks at the ascendant and he goes, okay, brat, that's where your karma's going to be paid. So do it. Hurry up. So essentially, the 10th place is showing where all of your karmic payback is going to be done. Since it's the ascendant, this life, you're actually going to be paying back most of the karma by just existing that you have in your backlog. By simply existing and going through whatever hardships, stresses, struggles, or what have you that's not comfortable, it's actually paying it off much faster than it would be if he was in another position, if that makes sense. So you also may be having to do some kind of line of work that makes you pretty much be more of service to yourself, like being, say, like a motivational speaker can be one because you're using yourself as an example. Let's see. And pretty much you'll be paying back karma that you are owed to yourself. So you actually would be paying off the most karma that you have neglected by giving it to yourself, if that makes sense. Not in the way like you're going to hit yourself upside the head, no, but more like to pay back the most karma, you have to make sure that you are providing for yourself first, if that makes sense. Your best servitude is serving yourself. Best way to put it. Boy. But also depending on what sign he's into can make a big difference too. For an example, if you have Saturn in Aries in the 4th house, well, he's not going to be the most thrilled. He's going to be more along, oh, god damn it, no, I don't want to be looking at that guy in the Speedo telling me to run. No, no, you ready to go? You ready to go sermon Saturn? No, you stupid, sick twat, get away. Ugh. Oh, come on, it'll be fun. Who invited these Twinkies here? Oh, someone kill me. And besides, Saturn is an old man. He doesn't like being in Aries. Because in Aries, he's forced to be athletic. You tell an old man to be athletic and he's walking with a walker, he's gonna look at you and think, what are you, stupid? Can you not see? I mean, I can't either, but come on! For, for as far as we know, he's gonna fall and break his hip. So really, it all comes down to sign placement. So if he's in a neutral, or if he's in a friendly sign or own sign, such as Capricorn, Aquarius, mm, Capricorn, Aquarius, friendly would be Virgo and Gemini, alongside, yeah, technically Libra, even though that's his exaltation point. Taurus would be another friendly sign. Or I use two softwares. The first one is I believe it's called Astrophysics or something like that on the mobile, and that's where I get to see where the black moon Lilith is placed. And the other one I use is Jaganta Hora, and that's the one that I use primarily all the time. And that's also the one that has the divisional charts in it. That's the primary ones that I use the most. When it comes to like, if I want to know what um, lunar mansion the planet's in, I would pretty much be using Jaganta Hora. There's not. There's this thing. Did I not end up? Oh yeah, the violet's in there. That doesn't sound so bad. Yep, the violet's in there. Just didn't smell it right. I don't know. I got nothing. Oh. Hmm? What is a rare degree that Saturn can be in? By technicality, if you ever have a planet in the degrees of where um, I'm trying to think of Shani in the degrees where Abjit is, which is a very small bit between Capricorn and Sagittarius, and it's behind Uttarashada, I believe. Yeah, Uttarashada, where Sagittarius going into Capricorn. Well, that's when Saturn's in Abjit, you get somebody like Anton LaVey, who is actually the one that brought in Satanism as a religion into reality. And Abjit is also one of those star placements, well, actually, it's the lunar mansion of victory. Whenever a planet's in there, that planet gets into a position where it's like he's victorious. And when I looked at Anton LaVey's chart, you'll come to see why. I mean, his Saturn was doing so much work in Abjit. And I mean, look what he did. He brought in a new religion for goodness sakes. And has left a legacy with it. And Venus is also very powerful. So Saturn opposing the Midhaven. Well, still, he's whenever something is opposite of something is usually best to say it's like an immutable aspect. But Saturn again, that's the seventh house, like his seventh aspect. So he's saying you're gonna be stuck to that. Deal with it. You don't want to. I didn't ask you. Do it. Hey, but it's better than having him in the ascendant where he loses his direction and he doesn't have any deep bala. So he's kind of like, where the hell do I go? I'm in this guy's head. I don't want to be here. I want to be with people. Damn it. So Saturn in the head, this can make somebody's frame of mind be very cold. A little bit harsh, a little bit point blank. But their body, if Saturn is in a friendly sign, own sign, or even exalted, this person has a strong cold resistance. They can take a lot of physical hits. Their bones are tough. And they might appear to be very blank, very cold. But in terms of like occult, if you're looking at like what's that called? I'm trying to remember what that divisional chart's called. But essentially having no, not divisional chart is the technique. But essentially since the ascendant is somebody's exist like body in existence altogether. When you have Saturn in there, naturally they deflect and they pretty much are unable to be influenced by means of occult influence. If somebody's trying to control or manipulate them or blind them, bounces right off. But Saturn again. Oh! Get it away! Oh, you're gonna woozy woo me? Huh, that's what the last Barat said. Huh, no. Ooh, maybe you got me this time. Nope, go away. Jacked up. Literally. For me at least, people throwing love spells at me, bounces off. Somebody's tried to curse me, bounces off. Somebody's tried to do any kind of magic towards me at all, bounces right off. Like, oh, you just did something? I'll have to see the degree and then the pada in order to make a really more accurate reading for that. Because Moon, again, is so sensitive. One little tweak at a certain degree can change everything. She's just that sensitive. Hold on, hold on. What in the world? Oh, no. I'll be right back.